This goes in my check baggage when I travel to a competition. I got 2 coolers here with food that I've prepared ahead of time. I pack some chicken, frozen jasmine rice, and then in the other, this is enough for, 3-4 days. Then we've got some food after the show as well. Potatoes that I boiled ahead of time, fish that I vacuum sealed and frozen, more rice. In terms of other carb sources, rice cakes, cream of rice. So I guess as you can see, it's a lot of rice. Why rice and potatoes? I don't get into pasta and all that stuff. Pasta just being a wheat-based food just doesn't seem to digest as quickly or as efficiently as the rice and potatoes do. At least not for me. Everybody's different. So I keep it pretty basic. I don't go nutso, but I did purchase at the gas station on the way here a package of Oreos for my wife, actually.
You're such a liar.
I thought to myself, wow, she would really like those. Those look great, and maybe I'll have a couple myself. So I won't have a lot. I'll have a couple of them. You don't need a lot of junk. Whether even after a show, I go pretty easy. But I could go for something kind of sweet. That would be nice. A couple Oreos. That's about as crazy as I get. I didn't mention this because I didn't want you guys thinking I was lame. But one of the foods that I do throw in here and there, whether it's throughout in my preparation or in the last week when I'm carving up, is some granola bars. Just they taste good, and rather than go out and have burgers and pancakes and crazy stuff, I'm able to get my fill of something good that's quick and tastes good and can eat a lot of them with just some granola bars. So a lot of times people are, what are you craving? And I'm like, man, I could really go for a fruit salad. Some granola bars would be good. And people are like, you're so pathetic. One question that people are always really quick to ask, a subject that people are really always interested in, is, how do you manipulate your water, in the last week before a show, things like that. I guess maybe it kind of falls in line with the rest of my philosophy that less is more. There have been times where, I would start taking, some type of, herbal diuretic in advance, like a week in advance, and, drink distilled water and boil my chicken and all that stuff. And the only thing that happened, I was just extra flat. The times when usually it worked the best was, keeping fluid and keeping sodium not high, but just keeping them normal up until like maybe the last 24 hours. And then, maybe the last 24 hours prior to, when I know the prejudging will be, cut back the sodium and start to scale back on fluid intake. But not do anything crazy because, people, assuming you're in shape, right? You wake up in the morning and it should be relatively hard, relatively dry. And, you say, well, how much water do I realistically is realistically sitting underneath my skin? So you go and you start drinking distilled water and not taking any sodium in, and taking diuretics, whether that's they're herbal or prescription. And usually it's just, aside from being dangerous, most of the time it just equates to people not looking very good because obviously, I'm sure most of you know that there's a balance between sodium and potassium in the body, and it pumps fluid in and out of the cell. And in order to be full and hard and for the muscle to pop, you need a certain amount of sodium and potassium. So even people say, well, I'm taking, dandelion leaf, and that's potassium sparing. Okay, great, but even too much potassium, and you could look flat and cramp up really, really badly. So the best advice I could give anyone is to get in the best shape you can get in, and rather than come up with some elaborate scheme, of what you're going to do with your water and all that stuff, just do less and just let the hard work, get you in shape, and don't rely on any Hail Marys at the last minute.